Tony's former interpreter attended the school like he claimed he did in his resume. University says there are no records of if a was dropped from its database, despite his bio saying he graduated in 2007. This is just one of the questions raised about his credentials since he was accused of stealing millions from Otani for illegal bets. MLB has opened a formal investigation. March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and one researcher in Silicon Valley is working on
Bob Dobbs, can you hear me? Excellent. Do you know who David Goldstein is?
Goldstein?
Goldstein?
Goach?
Yeah, he's this guy on Twitter. He's a pretty big influencer. He has like 900,000 followers, and I'm about to shill our coin. You ready for this, baby? You ready? I am.
What are you going to talk to him on space or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. He's got 211 people talking to him right now.
Nice. Have you ever studied these guys, like somebody like him? Like, how did he start? What was
Just
day one?
not right now. Not right now. I'm sorry. We'll go through all that. Just one moment. I'm about to speak. We'll go through all that.
I got you.
We'll talk about all that, Bob. I want to. I just like you can even see. I'm in here with my hand raised, about to talk. Oh, I'm gonna blow this motherfucker out of the water. I'm so ready. Calling me. I've been wanting to talk to this guy for like a year. Oh, I'm gonna show him right now. Holy fuck. Come on. Hurry the fuck up and calling me.
And then there's the other stream where you just like find every single like degen like food coin out there, and you're gonna get wrecked. And so like I'm with you, like even for my food coins now, I have like a spreadsheet on Excel, and I'm looking into it well, and cafe versus top, all that kind of stuff. Like you just find the niche and you go with it, but you have to actually think about these things with the open. And yeah, don't be crazy. Bobo Dodo. Bobo Dodos. Yeah, I'm telling you, like this, you know, like right now the memes like that I have are moving. I'm kind of like on all chains, and I'm kind of smiling because some people told me that I'm crazy, uh, but I was like, anything that's in this February, I don't really think I'm fucking crazy. I think that
Dog, no one fucking cares. You
when I
talk
really look
so
at it,
long. Go.
the Pepe character itself and everything that's branched off from it, I don't think I'm crazy. So, good morning, good evening, Pelosi, or good afternoon. Yeah, good evening, Pelosi. Good evening, good evening. How are you, man? Good, man. Why are you rocking that ugly ass fucking DFT bro? So yesterday when I put it, they kind of removed my review. So they added my review to my profile, and I couldn't change it anymore. So now I'm stuck to do PSP for like a week until they review my like profile shit. So it's not even my decision. Just do me a favor. Just don't talk. You can stay here. Just don't talk. Harry Potter. I don't know. I don't know what series you are. Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, Candy, whatever continues. I don't even fucking see anything at this point. Just Harry Potter. What's going on?
Thank you so much for the opportunity, David. I don't know if you're familiar with our coin. We are a meme coin, but really what I'd like to talk to you about is our community. You have up here meme season. What are you buying right now? The reason why this is a great coin is because the community has some unique aspects. We have a VC, a video chat, that has been live for 10 months straight. We are live on 10 YouTube streams right now. We're live on 10 Rumble streams. We're live on 10 TikToks, 10 Twitters, 10 Telegrams. You name it, we are everywhere. We live broadcast our video chat. So right now we have a party going on. We're listening to you in this Twitter space. We're having a good time. If you're interested in a really good community, take a look at Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. We just had an all time high within the last week. We are stable. It's an excellent coin. If you're familiar with our dev, more like he just fought Bit Boy in the Karate Combat series. Really exciting stuff. And if you're familiar with what The Economist said on data in 2018, data is Earth's number one resource. And if anything, this coin has more data on it than any coin because it has 10 simultaneous streams going at any given time.
Do me a favor, son. Tell that cat. Who was it? Like, what was his name?
More light?
Some more like one of the
I'll make
no, no. I say this. Yes, this is the number one show on X that I love to bring him on and talk about gaming shit.
absolutely. I will make that happen in the DMs. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you. You have a great show, and I'll get that connection with More Light going. And best wishes. Thank you.
I appreciate it, man. Honestly, I don't diss community at all. Like, I know people are probably ready for me to like rip something apart, but like if somebody comes up here just like that, like, hey, this is what we're about, I'm cool with it. When I'm being sold a vacuum cleaner and fucking accessories with it, that's when I'm like, yo, I'm out on this, bro. Not doing it tonight. Because I'm writing stuff down. Like, I like, okay, cool with it.
Dude, Bob, did you hear that?
Fucking accessories with it, that's when I'm like, yeah, I heard it. You said you want more light on there?
Yeah, how cool is that?
Because I'm writing stuff down. Like, okay, tinker Bitcoin. I mean, I've heard about this for fucking months. Do you want to know a fun fact about tinker Bitcoin? Were you the crack? Were you the guy who's smoking crack on Telegram? Is that? No, I don't know.
Laura, dude, how you doing, girl? Willie. Okay, girl, you be in the shower, girl. Dude, we just got a round of applause in this room. Damn, Laura, you are just what the doctor ordered. Wow. God bless America. God bless the state of New Jersey. And I don't have words. Look at this. It's like you're walking through the desert. There's absolutely no water. You keep thinking over the next hill, there's got to be an oasis, but no, it's a mirage. And then all of a sudden, here we are, just randomly, a beautiful woman walks into the VC and shares her voluptuous self with the community. It is just like manna from heaven, a blessing from Hashem, and I am all about it. Good for you, Laura. Good for you. Blessings on you. Look at that. Look how cool that. I gotta be honest with you. I have to be honest with you, Laura. I've been staring exactly where you think I've been staring for the last minute and have not known that that is a Sonic bikini. That's how distracted I have been. I didn't have words. Oh my god, it's so cool. It's a pink Sonic. It's like a Barbie Sonic. I love it. Boy, was I hoping that it would have a wardrobe malfunction. Let me tell you that. Five Dogs, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Dog, hold on. We have to tell everyone in the VC. Hold on. Oh, tight. I don't know what I'm doing either. I'm just staring. Dog, what I would do. Wow. You with all those curves and me without any brakes. Damn you, girl. We need to do this more often. Wow. The community is missing out. But I am not. I'm taking it all in. Yeah, dog. Now, this all goes in my permanent hard drive. This goes in the spank bank. I've never been such a big fan of a video game franchise as I am at this moment. I really like Grand Theft Auto, but it doesn't have shit on Sonic at this moment. Please do. Are you gonna wear this to the shore? Oh, I forgot. She said she can't hear us. So I've just been saying all that for nothing. James, James, you came at the right time. Dog, you came at the right time. Look at this. I don't think that's true. I mean, wait, I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect. I see that, but I think that like one person would be like, "Hey, Rabbi, what's going on?" If that were true, you know what I mean?
No, one sec, one sec.
Lord, she can't hear me. Can you please come to the VC period? I just got a really good interview opportunity for you with David.
Tell them Laura's in there showing tits. He'll come.
Willie? Dog, she just left.
She said she'll be back to take a booty video.
Triple digits. I'm on fire, baby. Dog. I just spoke to David, and he wants to interview you this week. Yo, dog, where is my man More Light? He is always there when I don't need him, but when I need him, it takes him like 5 minutes to get back to me, and that's too long. Too long. I know, period. I am hooking him up, period.
Resolution skill. If after a fight you find somebody finally treats you, wash it under the grin, we worked it through,
This is a
it's
huge
easy.
opportunity, period. If this works out, comma, I want to consider myself the John Stockton to his Karl Malone for this assist, period.
If you're not doing that, you probably need emotional help. Also, maybe your relationship has someone that's perfect. When people rely on another person or each other to help them regulate their emotions, that's the only way they're happy. This is balance, okay? It is not your partner's job to make you happy. In fact, your job is to make yourself happy. Your job is to transport that to them. If you believe you're in a relationship where you can change your partner, and I did have that thought many, many times when I was put in this area, I'm just going to get engaged. How my life got better, I got happier when I instead focused on how I could change myself, whatever, to accept another thing that I think makes a relationship hard is is worry. If you're worried you're going to lose your partner, if you're worried that you're not good enough for your partner, you're never going to have a healthy, really strong relationship. And the final thing I want to say about giving your love is it often involves a ton. You're afraid to grow separate and do things on your own, or you're afraid to allow your partner to grow with you. I always think of a good, healthy relationship as a Venn diagram. There's two overlapping circles. We have two individuals who are still growing and they have their friends and dogs and fun. I mean, they share years of it all with their partner. And then they have this overlap where they have one life together. That's a healthy relationship. And they accommodate, they adapt as each other grows and changes and brings new energy to the relationship. You want to get your growth stunted. So I talked a lot here about what do I think is mature love and what do I think is healthy love. Let's start with trust. I mean, it's the foundation of all of the mature relationships. When you feel safe, when you can find time self-love. Talking about my relationship, I always say I'm a mess together. I've spent 5 years being told by men I talk too much, or I have such strong opinions, or that I'm just easily shut down by men. And I have a guy who says, so we go out for a hike and we'll go for 30 minutes and you're still talking and I'm still entertained by you. Time's good. And he's happy with it. He's not complaining. That's wonderful. Also, that there's judgment, no judgment. What I do in my relationship is I try to ignore the why did you say that? Why did you do that? What were you afraid of? What happened there? Okay? That is called non-judgmental. And that
I
is
was
love.
just
So
in his
all
Twitter
of
space
those
and talked to him about our community
things
and
build into something wonderful.
about the fight, and
It is
he
your
said
heart.
that he wanted to have
It's your mind.
more light on this week.
It's putting yourself in their shoes, imagining them. And both partners learn to do that on their own. This is broken to be safe
Well, there was
and
tonight when I spoke to him,
authentic.
and that is when he said that he wanted to interview more light.
Let's be more greater than everybody in the world. We shouldn't. Name call, yell, obviously no physical violence, obviously no blaming, like something is always one person's fault and the other person gets to be the hero and it's never their fault. No! Respond with confidence.
Bitcoin
Respond with
MLK,
compassion.
because that's
And
why I
don't
joined the room, period.
next week. Or when we do, we want to get away with it now and have confidence. For sure, the worst way to have conflict is that silent. You've got to talk about stuff. You've got to regulate. Also, mature love involves supporting each other no matter what. So we are trying to figure out what our wedding vows are going to be. And he said, why don't we just do
I was on stage, period. I did the community proud, period. Ask anyone, period.
And finally, as I mentioned before, maintaining your community and to do your own stuff and then bring it back. Like you had some goals in a relationship. Guess what I did today? Guess who I saw today? I mean, Leo and I check in probably too much, at least two, if not three times a day. But usually it's to bring mundane news of like, guess who just called? Guess what just happened? Right? Literally function as a mirror mind
I've been trying to talk to this guy for like a year, period.
bring that to each other. And that is when unleash your power. On that note, that brings the Dr. Regular show to a close. You know, I'm always here for you every Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. And you can also follow me on my social media. My handle right now is at Rothschild. I don't know if we don't have any exclusive the end exclusive on that problem. It's going to change. And so Zoom, let's see if I can find it. It's there, scroll. You've been listening to the Dr. Wendy Walsh Show, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeart broadcast in Los Angeles, Phoenix, and everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Imagine your business sharing your impact on your life anywhere you tell the world. It's like reviewed from LA Avatar and this amazing solution by Phoenix Power.
Privileged and luxury co-stores in LA Orange and Riverside counties.
These aren't ambiguous contracts. Sometimes the suspects would use force. I think the total return on investment, honest proof, never comes back. That's the variables
Bob Dobbs, can you hear me, baby? You're amazing. So thank you. I know I was impatient with you when I was like, hey, I can't talk right now. So I'd love to talk about how those guys build up those accounts and everything. But as you see, that was a big opportunity, and we took advantage of it. So A plus work, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so um, when it comes to those accounts, there are several ways that people get it. I mean, I've been alive and I've been on social media since Twitter started, and I can tell you that even people who had accounts that were around in like 2007 don't have tons of followers. If you don't follow people and follow back, you're not going to get a lot of followers. The way people, unless you're an influencer, so the way people get that amount of followers is a few ways. One, they can buy them. I can tell you the going rate of followers right now. For real followers to get 10,000 real followers, it'll take about 10 to 20 days and it'll cost you about 350 bucks. But then you get 10,000 real followers. To get 10,000 fake followers, it's about $180 and you can get them in about 4 days. And why do I know this? Because I just priced it out for someone who was looking to improve their account. So then there are things that you can do to increase your account as well, such as there's something really important. Oh, like what we did with the Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Enu account. We did a contest to get it from like 10,000 people or 40,000 people to 120,000 people, and that can do it. And so if you're like, did he really get 900,000 or whatever? Perhaps. Well, yeah, because he's on like Fox News and stuff. So,
We did that with the Harry Potter account.
yeah, we did a contest. That's why it's increased so much. We didn't buy them, but we did a contest.
When did that happen?
Um, I want to say in the last month because I've been watching that account, and we had another account that got banned, and we were never able to get that one back. So we had to start with this new account, and it started at like 3,000 people. Like, I mean, it started with nothing, and then like everybody who found out it got banned, it got all the community members joined it. It eventually got like 3,000 people, and then got up to like 10,000. But it wasn't really doing really well until they did this contest like in the last 2 months or something, and that got it over 120,000. And it was some kind of giveaway or something. You had to retweet the account, and there was like a giveaway of I don't want to say that for sure, but I think it was something along those lines. I asked more like directly. I said, "How are you able to get over 100,000? Like, why aren't we celebrating that we had over 100,000 followers? That would be something like I celebrated it at our trivia night." He's like, "Well, yeah, but I don't know how many of those are bots or not." And also, I'm like, "Well, how were we able to get so many?" And he's like, "Well, we did this contest, and with the contest, it seems like that had a lot of opportunity." So,
Yeah.
as much, I can't hear you right now. Just one moment, Bob. Just one moment. As much, I can't hear you right now. If you want to speak, come to the Harry Potter Rama Sonic 10 Enu room, and I can hear you better there. I'm talking to a couple of people there. I hope you're doing well, baby. Uh, yeah, so, sorry, I've got a bunch of these phones, and they're involved in all kinds of places. But that David Goldstein, he has a huge show on Twitter. It's the biggest Twitter show. It's the biggest daily Twitter show I think that there is. And that's when I saw him. The reason why I was like, this was important to me was whenever I try to talk to him with my Rabbi Rothschild accounts, he never wants to talk. Whenever I want to talk to him with my Rabbi Rothschild accounts, he never wants to talk to me. I've been trying to talk to this guy for a year. But I have this Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Enu account that has like 100 followers on it. So it's not like it's like it's an account that like doesn't have a ton of people on it, but it doesn't look like a fake account, and it has some content. So I know he took a look and was like, okay, well, whatever, let's talk to this person. And um, I was really happy to be able to plug that because that's what we need to do for this coin. Like we can make memes all day long. That doesn't really do too much for us. Getting with influencers and doing interviews, like between two Sprotos, that was a big interview that we did. More like doing karate combat, that was huge. More like being interviewed by David Goldstein, that would be huge. Are you picking up when I'm laying down, Bob Dobbs? Do I have to spoon feed you this alpha? Dog. Do I need to?
I'm picking it up.
Absolutely. All right. So now we're going to listen to Joe Rogan. We're going to listen to what Joe Rogan you may be saying, Rabbi. Whatever one you want. If you have one that you want to listen to in particular. If you don't, random ass one and enjoy ourselves. We listened to Elon Musk last night and Ray Kurzweil. I've listened to his Ray Kurzweil one like 100 times. I've listened to Sam Altman one like a bunch too, but it's pretty good. Do you know who Sam Altman is? He's the CEO of OpenAI, or former CEO.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna listen to him talk about how AI is going to. Dad, I've asked you a fucking question. There's a question in your goddamn queue. I heard you say you're ready. I'm ready. Joe Rogan podcast. Check it out. The Joe Rogan Experience. Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night. All day.
Joe Rogan.
At the verge of World War III. Yeah. You know, here's what's crazy, man. I've been freaking out over the last like few weeks. Like at nighttime. Like at nighttime, I'll be alone, and I just start thinking about the future of the world, and I start like legit freaking out. Like what would happen if we were like legit Armageddon, Mad Max, nuclear war? Like how far are we away from that? And you just give me anxiety before I go to sleep. I just be laying there going, fuck, like how does this all resolve? And then this fucking Israel thing pops off, and now I'm like legit freaked out.
I've been definitely buying a lot of stuff lately for my house, like end of the world shit. Like I'm getting Tesla solar right now, battery packs so I can live off the grid. And
Yeah, that's a good move. Yeah, if you can get your house solar, that's a big move. Just fucking a bit of it. At a certain point in time, what's the electricity even getting you other than keeping the lights on? What I'm scared of is like all communications are gone. Like how hard would it be to shut down our power grid? How hard would it be to blow a few satellites up and no one knows shit?
yeah, that's why like that Starlink, the satellite thing. I'm thinking about getting that. Even though I have great internet, but
Yeah,
just because what if? It's scary.
yeah. I was in the mountains in Utah and they had Starlink and it was great. It works everywhere. But people keep thinking it's UFOs.
Oh yeah,
Like people keep filming it flying. What is that?
yeah, the dots in the air.
Dude, everybody's looking for UFOs now, like more than ever.
Yeah, ring cameras are putting out $1 million bounty if you catch something on your ring cameras right now. They will pay you $1 million.
That's good because they know they don't have to pay that.
Yeah,
It's like sweet, very smart. Did you see that one in Vegas that they captured on camera? Like the dashboard cam of a police car caught this thing streaking through the sky, and then this family said that it landed in their backyard, and that these tall creatures got out of it. They saw the tall creatures, but then when George Knapp was going to interview them, like I think it was on 2 separate occasions, they just fucking wouldn't answer the door.
Oh really?
Yeah, but I think also, I mean, they might have made the whole story up, right? That's most likely. But also, imagine how freaked out you'd be if all of a sudden the whole world wanted to talk to you because of a UFO in your backyard. And I don't know if they're legal. I believe they spoke Spanish. See if you can find that story. because it was at the beginning I was like, whoa, and then I was like, what? You know, it's one of those things that you want it to be true, so you start like going, whoa, what is going on with this story? And then you read it more, you read into it, and
yeah, that's all those stories, right?
every one of them.
Yeah, it's never like, oh, we filmed it on the new iPhone. Look how great crisp it is.
The only ones that I ever really that make me pause are the ones from the military guys, and the ones from the military guys. The more I think about it, the more I think that is some absolute top secret shit that the United States government has developed. I think they have some super high tech drone technology that operates on some very sophisticated propulsion system that we're not aware of.
Or different countries. You know,
I think it's America. The reason why I think it's America is because these things always happen where military bases are. Like one of them happened off the coast of the Nimitz in San Diego. You know, San Diego's where all the SEALs are. That's where a bunch of military base. Well, there's like a bunch of exercises that go on in the sea outside of San Diego. So that makes sense. And they were doing fighter jet testing and training out there. That's how. So that kind of makes sense to me. And then the other ones are in the East Coast, again, in the same kind of airspace where these guys practice all the time. And I had this one guy on, Ryan Graves, and he said that when they upgraded the equipment on their jets in 2014, I believe, that's when they started seeing all these things. That's when they're like, what the fuck is going on? Now, is that an accident? Like, if they wanted to find out, you know, like whether or not these things were, you could detect them, you know, whether or not we could employ them or deploy them rather without anybody knowing. Wouldn't you test them with your own guys? Like, I would. He goes, hey, here's the rules. Don't shoot at those things. If you see them, we don't know what the fuck they are. Yeah, but they probably do know what the fuck they are. But also real aliens. I leave everything on the table. I think if you had a pie, the UFO pie, right? Most of it's bullshit. Like a good 65% is bullshit.
That's really low.
You know me. Come on, man. I got an alien problem. I got a real alien problem. I got a UFO on the desk. We got a fucking alien head on the wall.
Yeah.
But I'm also a realist, at least in some ways. And I look at it and I go, okay, most of it's just bullshit. And then misunderstandings. So what's misunderstandings? How many of them are shooting stars, which happen all the time? I saw one the other day. It was dope. Just the light, this guy just shot up and it dies off. It's like, ooh, it's pretty. How many of them are just fighter jets, shit like that? Have you ever seen like a stealth bomber? Have you ever seen one of those?
Yeah.
In the sky?
Not in the sky. I mean, I at an air museum.
We were filming Fear Factor in 2001, and it was right after 9/11. So we were out in what's the fucking city we were at? We would go there all the time. Palmdale. So Palmdale's like way out there. Wow, crack. It was a sketchy area, but also these big open roads that we could close down. And so we would do these stunts with like giant semi trucks barreling down the road, and these people had to climb on the outside of the truck, shit like that. And so we were out there and we saw this thing just flying through the air like a fucking something out of Star Wars. Everybody stopped. We were like, whoa. It's a stealth bomber. It's flying through the sky. They look so sick. They look like they're not of this world.
You're talking about the Blackbird, right? Is that what it's called? Blackbird or something?
I think there's more than one of them, right?
Sexy one that's like all black and it looks like it has muscles.
It was sexy. It was very sexy. It was very black. It was very very spaceship looking. See if they get a video with that thing. Is there more than one?
No, well, there's a couple different stealth. There's the B2 stealth, which is probably the big one you're talking about. On the screen.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. That's exactly what it looked like. When I saw that thing, I was like, oh my god. If you didn't know, come on, man. And you saw that thing flying through the sky, like, give me one of those images, like that image right there to your right of your cursor right there. Yeah, click on that. If you just saw that, you'd be like, oh my god, we're getting invaded for sure.
Especially at night. Can you imagine? What is there video of that at night? I bet that looks like a UFO.
I bet you can't see it at night. Like, you know, the whole idea is that it evades radar. How does that even work? Oh, this is... It does look a little bit like a plane.
But those three lights, don't people always say they see like three lights in the sky? It's how many of them are this thing? Probably a shit ton. You know? I mean, everybody always talks about a triangle-shaped craft, right? Well, there it is. Yeah. Fucking there it is. Yeah. The ones that they spotted over Phoenix. Remember they had that the Phoenix lights? And they always say, oh, it was going slow. And then out of nowhere, it just jet out of nowhere super fast. Yeah, that's another one. That's a nice, yeah. But you think about it, if it has three lights under it, and it's flying through the air, and it's that high, all it would have to do is turn those three lights off, and you'd be like, oh my god, it disappeared. Yeah. You know? You would have no idea what's going on. So now on the ground like that looks like a jet. Like a super dope jet. What's the other one? I think we have a drone. I think I was looking at one that's like not officially. I think the SR-72 hasn't been officially announced. What's that one on the far left? The white one? Yeah, no. Look at that thing. Wow, that looks cool. Fuck yeah, it looks cool. I mean, if you were, like when I was in high school in the 1980s, he told me like what a jet's gonna look like in 2003. I'm like, oh, like that. Or 2023. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, this is 2004, so that's almost 20 years ago. That's the only thing that gives me pause. I was like, did they really have that kind of technology 20 years ago? Or something could jet off into the sky and go from 50,000 feet above sea level to zero in a second. Did they have that back then? Maybe. Maybe they had that, but just they didn't have any way to use it, and so they just hold on to it. I mean, like, what would you use that for? Like, if they did have it, here's the thing. If they had something like that, like the Tic Tac, have you seen the Tic Tac one? Mm-hmm. That's the videos that's the one that's the most legit, because it's two separate jets, multiple eyeballs on this thing, video evidence of this thing, radar data. Check this thing out. This is a Chinese drone, and it says it moves with bursts of compressed air to maneuver. This testbed drone can influence its upcoming sixth-generation fighter design. The drone features active flow technology, which uses bursts of high-pressure air from actuators embedded in the aircraft's body for maneuvering instead of traditional moving control surfaces such as, I don't know how to say that, ailerons, rudders, and elevators. Wow. So it uses compressed air to flutter and maneuver. But what does that thing do if winds are fucked up? Can it push against the winds? Like, how's that air work? It falls apart. It's made in China. Bro, they made your phone. They make great stuff, too. But that's the funny thing, right? We would think made in China's cheap. Bitch, made in China's everything. Yeah. We can't make a single phone over here. That is the dumbest thing of all time. Crazy? Yeah, I've been talking about that stage. Right? Not hard. If China could do it. Right. If we've talked about this before, but if they made a phone in America and you didn't have to feel terrible about people working in the cobalt mines to get the cobalt out of the ground, and if you didn't have to feel terrible about people working 16 hours a day, sleeping in cots, jumping off the roof, manufacturing it, you'd be happy to pay a little more. Okay, unlike traditional AFC, which uses high pressure air to maneuver an aircraft, plasma AFC works in a thin membrane in front of a flying aircraft which ionizes air molecules. The ionized air molecules generate a plasma shower that accelerates the airflow, which can keep the craft from stalling if it goes down a particular airspeed. For example, China's plasma AFC is claimed to prevent stalls even if the aircraft speed drops to unusually low 108 kilometers per hour. And I find that's low. But that's like, what is that? 108 is like 65 something, 70. Like, what's 200 miles an hour? Or 200 kilometers is like 60 miles an hour, right? Because I know that from cars. We were supposed to adopt the metric system when I was in fucking grammar school, bro. Yeah. We were supposed to get on board with soccer, and we were supposed to get on board with the metric system. It's Celsius, right? Yep. That's part of it. It's all. Ours is so goofy. It's so stupid. Ours is second only to England. England still uses stone. People. He weighs 16 stone. I think it's 13 pounds. Is that what a stone is? it once, like what the root of that was. Like they had just made a measurement in the fucking 14 pounds. Yeah. So that's like from back in the, probably the barbarian days. This stone will be how we measure food in gold. And however many of them, we have 3 stone. It's just like, it's so medieval. Stone. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's weird. But it's weird that we're not all on board with one measurement and we fucked it up. Like, we easily could have gave up on
Dude,
inches.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is supposed to be Sam Altman, and it's Brian Redman. You're probably like, they're not talking about AI, or I don't know what the fuck that guy's saying. Alright. I don't know why the fuck that came up. See if we can find Sam Altman. We can't. Shit happens when you party naked.
Together here. I don't think people have quite realized the stakes. But this is like, I don't think...
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out. The Joe Rogan Experience. Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night. All day.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night. All day. All right, Sam, what's happening? Not much. Thanks for coming in here. Appreciate it. Thanks, man. So, what have you done? Like ever? No, I mean, what have you done with AI? I mean, it's one of the things about this is, I think everyone is fascinated by it. Everyone is absolutely blown away at the current capability and wondering what the potential for the future is and whether or not that's a good thing. I think it's going to be a great thing, but I think it's not going to be all a great thing. And that is where I think that's where all of the complexity comes in. For people, it's not this like clean story of we're going to do this and it's all going to be great. It's we're going to do this, it's going to be net great, but it's going to be like a technological revolution. It's going to be a societal revolution. And those always come with change. And even if it's like net wonderful, there's things we're going to lose along the way. Some kinds of jobs, some kind of parts of our way of life, some parts of the way we live are going to change and go away. And no matter how tremendous the upside is there, and I believe it will be tremendously good, there's a lot of stuff we got to navigate through to make sure. That's a complicated thing for anyone to wrap their heads around, and there's deep and super understandable emotions around that. That's a very honest answer. That it's not all going to be good, but it's definitely inevitable. My view, when you're like a kid in school, you learn about this technological revolution and then that one and then that one. And my view of the world now, sort of looking backwards and forwards, is that this is like one long technological revolution. And we had, first we had to figure out agriculture so that we had the resources and time to figure out machines. Then we had the Industrial Revolution, and that made us learn about a lot of stuff, a lot of other scientific discovery too. Let us do the Computer Revolution, and that's now letting us, as we scale up these massive systems, do the AI revolution. But it really is just one long story of humans discovering science and technology and co-evolving with it. And I think it's the most exciting story of all time. I think it's how we get to this world of abundance. And although we do have these things to navigate, there will be these downsides. If you think about what it means for the world, for people's quality of lives, we can get to a world where the cost of intelligence and the abundance that comes with that, the cost dramatically falls, the abundance goes way up. I think we'll do the same thing with energy. And I think those are the two sort of key inputs to everything else we want. So if we can have abundant and cheap energy and intelligence, that will transform people's lives largely for the better. And I think it's going to, in the same way that if we could go back now 500 years and look at someone's life, we'd say, well, there's some great things, but they didn't have this, they didn't have that. Can you believe they didn't have modern medicine? That's what people are going to look back at us like, but in 50 years. when you think about the people that currently rely on jobs that AI will replace, when you think whether truck drivers, workers, people that work in factory assembly lines, put to mitigate the downsides of those jobs being eliminated by AI. So, I'll talk about some general thoughts, but I find making very specific prediction difficult because the way the technology goes has been so different than even my own intuitions, or certainly my own intuitions. Maybe we should stop there and back up a little. What were your initial thoughts? If you had asked me 10 years ago, I would have said, first, AI is going to come for blue-collar labor, basically. It's going to drive trucks and do factory work, and, it'll handle heavy machinery. Then, maybe after that, it'll do, some kinds of cognitive labor, but it won't be off doing what I think of personally as the really hard stuff. It won't be off proving mathematical theorems, won't be off, discovering science, won't be off writing code. And then eventually, maybe last of all, maybe never, because human creativity is this magic special thing. Last of all, it'll come from the creative jobs. That's what I would have said. Now, it looks to me like, and for a while, AI is much better at doing tasks than doing jobs. It can do these little pieces super well, but sometimes it goes off the rails, can't keep very long coherence. So people are instead just able to do their existing jobs way more productively. But you really still need the human there today. And then B, it's going exactly the other direction. I do the creative work first, stuff like coding second. They can do things like other kinds of cognitive labor third, and we're the furthest away from humanoid robots. So back to the initial question. If we do have something that completely eliminates factory workers, completely eliminates truck drivers, delivery drivers, things along those lines, that creates this massive vacuum in our society. So I think there's things that we're gonna do that are good to do but not sufficient. So I think at some point we will do something like a UBI or some other kind of very long-term unemployment insurance something, but we'll have some way of giving people redistributing money in society as a cushion for people as people figure out the new jobs. But maybe I should touch on that. I'm not a believer at all that there won't be lots of new jobs. I think human creativity, desire for status, wanting different ways to compete, invent new things, feel part of the community, feel valued, that's not going to go anywhere. People have worried about that forever. What happens is we get better tools and we just invent new things and more amazing things to do. And there's a big universe out there. And I think, literally, there's space is really big, but also there's just so much stuff we can all do if we do get to this world of abundant intelligence where you can sort of just think of a new idea and it gets created. But again, that doesn't, to the point with that doesn't provide great solace to people who are losing their jobs today. So saying there's going to be this indefinite stuff in the future, people are like, what are we doing today? So, I think we will, as a society, do things like UBI and other ways of redistribution, but I don't think that gets at the core of what people want. I think what people want is agency, self-determination, the ability to play a role in architecting the future along with the rest of society, the ability to express themselves and create something meaningful to them. And also, I think a lot of people work jobs they hate, and I think we as a society are always a little bit confused about whether we want to work more or work less, but somehow we all get to do something meaningful, and we all get to play our role in driving the future forward. That's really important. And what I hope is as those long-haul truck driving jobs go away, which, people have been wrong about predicting how fast that's going to happen, but it's going to happen. We figure out not just a way to solve the economic problem by and we've had a lot of ideas about this. There's a way that we like share ownership and decision making over the future. One thing I say a lot about AGI is that everyone realizes we're going to have to share the benefits of that, but we also have to share like the decision making over it and access to the system itself. Like I'd be more excited about a world where we say, rather than give everybody on Earth like 1/8 billionth of the AGI money, which we should do that too, we say you get like 1/8 billionth of a 1/8 billionth slice of the system. You can sell it to somebody else, you can sell it to a company, you can pool it with other people, you can use it for whatever creative pursuit you want, you can use it to figure out how to start some new business. And with that, you get sort of like a voting right over how this is all going to be used. And so the better the AGI gets, the more your little 1/8 billionth ownership is worth to you.
We are brought to you by Roka. If you've been listening for a while, you may have heard me talk about Roka sunglasses. They are my absolute favorite. But today, I want you to know about the prescription eyewear. If you are active and have bad eyes, do not skip this shit. Roka is a brand based in Austin, Texas, and they have been making performance eyewear for Olympic gold medalists and world champion athletes since 2016. For the last few years, Roka has been building out a badass prescription offering and invested millions of dollars to build their own optical lab right here in Austin at their headquarters. All of Roka's frames work for prescription lenses, and they have something for everyone, no matter how fucked up your eyes are. Regular prescription, progressives, also readers. Since they cut their own lenses, they can also work with extreme ranges that a lot of other brands can't offer. I've been wearing the readers and sunglasses for a few years now and absolutely love them. They are ultra lightweight, super comfortable, and Roka fixed that problem where glasses slip off your nose when you're looking down. They're the best. Since Rokas stay on your face, you can actually work out in them and ditch the contacts. Some brands have made prescription eyewear easy to get online. Roka did that and actually made their products better too. No bullshit. Check them out. I can wear anything, but I choose to wear Roka, and you should too. Get 20% off your order with the code ROGAN at roka.com. That's ROKA.com. We were joking around the other day on the podcast where I was saying that what we need is an AI government. We should have an AI president and have AI
just make all the decisions.
Yeah, have something that's completely unbiased, absolutely rational, has the accumulated knowledge of the entire human history at its disposal, including all knowledge of psychology and psychological study, including UBI, because that comes with a host of, pitfalls and issues that people have with it.
So I'll say something there. I think we're still very far away from a system that is capable enough and reliable enough that any of us would want that. But I'll tell you something I love about that. Someday, let's say that thing gets built. The fact that it can go around and talk to every person on Earth, understand their exact preferences.
What's going on, Gustav? How are you, baby?
I'm fine, brother. Shooting, smoking,
Enjoying life.
looking at your sweet face.
Thank you. Hey, do you know who Morelight is?
Yeah, he's deaf.
Exactly. So the biggest Twitter influencer who has a morning show on Twitter Spaces. His name is David Goldstein, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? Anyway,
I heard about David.
yeah, exactly. So he was doing a Twitter Space tonight, just like within the last hour, and I've been wanting to talk to this guy for like a year, but he's really hard to get a hold of because his spaces aren't like open discussions. He has so many followers that he just is able to speak. He has like 700 or 800,000 followers, and he routinely has the biggest spaces on Twitter Spaces. So I saw though that he had a space tonight with only like 200 people, not like his normal like thousands of people. So I also had an account that I thought he might use. He might call me up because he said it was like a meme space. He wanted to talk about meme coins. So I had a Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu account. So I went in to talk to him, and after he put me on hold for a while, I finally had the opportunity, and I was able to tell him about the community. I was able to tell him about Morelight. He knew about Morlight's fight with BitBoy, and he said he'd like to interview Morelight this week on his show, which is really great. And I said I will make that happen.
Yeah,
So
that's so cool, man. That's cool news.
I agree. So basically, our dev is going to be on the biggest X morning show on the internet. So that's cool. Hopefully this week.
I'm looking forward to that, man. Great journey.
Absolutely, I'm proud of that. So, yeah. How are things in your world? How are things with you, Gustav? Gustav, can you hear me? I can't hear you if you're talking, baby. Can you hear me? Gustav. Oh, Gustav bounced. Gustav bounced.
They balance the trade-offs and what they want, and then understand all of that, and like collectively optimize for the collective preferences of humanity or citizens of the U.S. That's awesome.
As long as it's not co-opted, right? Our government currently is co-opted.
That's for sure.
We know for sure that our government is heavily influenced by special interests. If we could have an artificial intelligence government that has no influence, nothing has influence on it.
What a fascinating idea.
It's possible, and I think it might be the only way, where you're going to get completely objective, the absolute most intelligent decision for virtually every problem, every dilemma that we face currently in society.
Would you truly be comfortable handing over like final decision making and say, all right, AI, you got to
No, but I'm not comfortable doing that with anybody.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't.
Right.
I was uncomfortable with the Patriot Act. I'm uncomfortable with many decisions that are being made. It's just there's so much obvious evidence that decisions that are being made are not being made in the best interest of the overall well of the people. It's being made in the decisions of whatever gigantic corporations that have donated to and whatever the military industrial complex and pharmaceutical industrial complex, and it's just the money. That's really what we know today, that money has a massive influence on our society and the choices that get made, and the overall good or bad for the population.
Yeah, I have no disagreement at all that the current system is super broken, not working for people, super corrupt, and for sure, like, unbelievably run by money.
Yeah.
And I think there is a way to do a better job than that with AI, just in some way. But and this might just be like a factor of sitting with the systems all day and watching all of the ways they fail. We got a long way to go.
A long way to go, I'm sure. But when you think of AGI, when you think of the possible future, like where it goes to, do you ever extrapolate? Do you ever like sit and pause and say, well, if this becomes sentient and it has the ability to make better versions of itself, how long before we're literally dealing with a god?
So the way that I think about this is, it used to be that like AGI was this very binary moment. It was before and after, and I think I'm totally wrong about that. And the right way to think about it is this continuum of intelligence, this smooth exponential curve, back all the way to that sort of smooth curve of technological revolution. The amount of compute power we can put into the system, the scientific ideas about how to make it more efficient and smarter, to give it the ability to do reasoning, to think about how to improve itself, that will all come. But my model for a long time, I think if you look at the world of AGI thinkers, there's sort of two, particularly around the safety issues you're talking about, there's two axes that matter. There's the what called short timelines or long timelines. You know, to the first milestone of AGI, whatever that's going to be, Is that going to happen in a few years, a few decades, maybe even longer? Although at this point, I think most people are a few years, a few decades. And then there's takeoff speed. Once we get there, from there to that point you're talking about where it's capable of the rapid self-improvement, is that a slow or a fast process? The world that I think we're heading, that we're in, and also the world that I think is the most controllable and the safest, is the short timelines and slow takeoff quadrant. And I think we're going to have, there were a lot of very smart people for a while who were like, the thing you were just talking about happens in a day or 3 days. And that doesn't seem likely to me given the shape of the technology as we understand it now. Now, even if that happens in a decade or 3 decades, it's still like the blink of an eye from a historical perspective. And there are going to be some real challenges to getting that right. And the decisions we make, the sort of safety systems and the checks that the world puts in place, how we think about global regulation or rules of the road from a safety perspective for those projects, it's super important because you can imagine many things going horribly wrong. But I feel cheerful about the progress the world is making towards taking this seriously. And, it reminds me of what I've read about the conversations that the world had right around the development of nuclear weapons.
It seems to me that this is, at least in terms of public consciousness, this has emerged very rapidly, where I don't think anyone was really aware. People were aware of the concept of artificial intelligence, but they didn't think that it was going to be implemented so comprehensively, so quickly.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT is on, 4.5 now? 4. And with 4.5, there'll be some sort of an exponential increase in its abilities.
It'll be somewhat better. Each step, from each half step like that, you kind of, humans have this ability to get used to any new technology so quickly. The thing that I think was unusual about the launch of ChatGPT 3.5 and then 4 was that people hadn't really been paying attention. And that's part of the reason we deploy. We think it's very important that people and institutions have time to gradually understand this, react, co-design the society that we want with it. And if you just build AGI in secret in a lab and then drop it on the world all at once, I think that's a really bad idea. So we had been trying to talk to the world about this for a while. People, if you don't give people something they can feel and use in their lives, they don't quite take it seriously. Everybody's busy. And so there was this big overhang from where the technology was to where public consciousness was. Now, that's caught up. We've deployed. I think people understand it. I don't expect the jump from 4 to whenever we finish 4.5, which should be a little while. I don't expect that to be I think the crazy switch, the crazy adjustment that people have had to go through has mostly happened. I think most people have gone from thinking that AGI was science fiction and very far off to something that is going to happen. And that was like a one-time reframe. And now, every year you get a new iPhone. Over the 15 years or whatever since the launch, they've gotten dramatically better. But iPhone to iPhone, you're like, yeah, okay, it's a little better. But now if you go hold up the first iPhone to the 15 or whatever, that's a big difference. GPT 3.5 to AGI, that'll be a big difference. But along the way, it'll just get incrementally better.
Do you think about the convergence of things like Neuralink and there's a few competing technologies where they're trying to implement some sort of a connection between the human biological system and technology?
Do you want one of those things in your head?
I don't until everybody does.
Right.
And, I have a joke about it, but it's the idea is once it gets done, you have to because everybody's going to have it.
So one of the hard questions about the merge, all of the related merge stuff, is exactly what you just said. As a society, are we going to let some people merge with AGI,
right,
not others? And if we do, then, and you choose not to, what does that mean for you?
Right, and will you be protected?
How you get that moment right? If we imagine all the way out to the sci-fi future, I've been a lot of sci-fi books written about how you get that moment, right? Who gets to do that first? What about people who don't want to? How do you make sure that people that do it first, actually help lift everybody up together?
Yeah.
How do you make sure people who want to just, live their very human life get to do that? That stuff is really hard, and honestly, so far off from my problems of the day that I don't get to think about that as much as I'd like to, because I do think it's super interesting. But yeah, it seems like if we just think logically, that's going to be a huge challenge at some point, and people are going to want wildly divergent things, but there is a societal question about how we're going to, the questions of fairness that come there and what it means for the people who don't do it. Super, super complicated. Anyway, on the neural interface side, I'm in the short term, before we figure out how to upload someone's consciousness into a computer, if that's even possible at all, which I think there's plenty of sides you could take on why it's not. The thing that I find myself most interested in is what we can do without drilling a hole in someone's head. How much of the inner monologue can we read out with an externally mounted device? And if we have a imperfect, low bandwidth, low accuracy neural interface, can people still just learn how to use it really well in a way that's quite powerful for what they can now do with the new computing platform? And my guess is we'll figure that out.
I'm sure you've seen that headpiece. There's a demonstration where there's someone asking someone a question. They have this headpiece on. They think the question, and then they literally Google the question, get the answers through their head.
That's the kind of thing that's the kind of direction we've been exploring.
Yeah. That seems to me to be step one. That's the Pong of the eventual immersive 3D video games. You're going to get these first steps, and they're going to seem sort of crude and slow. I mean, it's essentially slower than just asking Siri.
I think if someone built a system where you could think words, doesn't just be a question, it could just be your passive rambling inner monologue, but certainly could be a question, and that was being fed into GPT-5 or 6, and in your field of vision the words in response were being displayed, that would be the poem.
Yeah.
That's a very valuable tool to have.
And that seems like that's inevitable.
There's hard work to get there on the neural interface side, but I believe it will happen.
Yeah. I think so too. And my concern is that the initial adopters of this will have such a massive advantage over the general population.
Well, that doesn't concern me, because that's that's just better, that's a better computer. You're not jacking your brain into something in a high risk thing. You know what you do when you don't want them? When you take off the glasses. So that feels fine.
Well, this is the external device then.
Oh, I think we can do the kind of read your thoughts with an external device at some point. Read your internal monologue.
Interesting. And do you think we'll be able to communicate with an external device as well, telepathically, or semi-telepathically through technology?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I think so too. My real concern is that once we take the step to use an actual neural interface, when there's an actual operation, and they're using some sort of an implant, and then that implant becomes more sophisticated. It's not the iPhone 1, now it's the iPhone 15. And as these things get better and better, we're on the road to cyborgs. We're on the road to, why would you want to be a biological person? Do you really want to live in a fucking log cabin when you could be in the Matrix? I mean, it seems like we're on this path.
We're already a little bit down that path, right? If you take away someone's phone and they have to go function in the world today, they're at a disadvantage relative to everybody else. So that's maybe that's the lightest weight version of a merge we could imagine, but I think it's worth if we go back to that earlier thing about the one exponential curve, I think it's worth saying we've lifted off the x-axis already down this path, the tiniest bit. And even if you don't go all the way to a neural interface, VR will get so good that some people just don't want to take it off that much.
Right.
And that's fine for them, as long as we can solve this one certainly one of them. Like, actually, the human body and the human experience is pretty great. That log cabin in the woods, pretty awesome. I don't want to be there all the time. I'd love to go play the great video game. But, like, I'm really happy to get to go there sometimes.
Yeah, there's still human experiences that are just like great human experience. Just laughing with friends, you know, kissing someone that you've never kissed before, that you're on a first date. Those kind of things are they're real moments. And just laughs. Yeah, having a glass of wine with a friend and just laughing.
Not quite the same in VR.
Yeah, it's
now,
not.
when the VR goes super far, so you can't, you know, it's like you are projecting on your brain and you can't tell what's real and what's not. And then everybody gets like super deep on the simulation hypothesis or the like Eastern religion or whatever, and I don't know how to get to that point.
Do you ever fuck around with simulation theory? Because the real problem is when you combine that with probability theory and you talk to the people that say, well, if you just look at the numbers, the probability that we're already in a simulation is much higher than the probability that we're not.
It's never been clear to me what to do about it. It's like, okay, that intellectually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think probably, sure.
Right.
That seems convincing, but
now
this is my reality.
Yeah.
This is my life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to live it. And I've, you know, from like 2 a.m. in my college freshman dorm hallway till now, I've made no more progress on it than that.
Well, it seems like one of those, there's no, you know, if it is a possibility, if it is real. First of all, once it happens, what are you going to do? I mean, that is the new reality. And in many ways, our new reality is as alien to, hunter-gatherers 15,000 years ago as that would be to us now. I mean, we've already entered into some very bizarre territory where, you know, I was just having a conversation with my kids. We were asking questions about something, and I always say, let's guess what percentage of that is this, and then we just Google it, and then just ask Siri, and we pull it up. Like, look at that. Like, that alone is so bizarre compared to how it was when I was 13, and you had to go to the library and hope that the book was accurate.
Totally. I was very annoyed this morning. I was reading about how horrible systems like ChatGPT and Google are from an environmental impact because it's, you know, using like some extremely tiny amount of energy for each query. And, you know, we're all destroying the world. And I was like, before that, people drove to the library. Let's talk about how much carbon they burn to answer this question versus what it takes now. Come on.
But that's just people looking for some reason why something's bad. That's not a logical perspective. What we should be looking at is the spectacular changes that are possible through this. And all the problems, the insurmountable problems that we have with resources, with the environment, with cleaning up the ocean, climate change. There's so many problems that we have
to solve all of everything else.
And that's why we need President AI.
If AI could make every scientific discovery, but we still had human presidents, do you think it would be okay?
No, because those creeps would still be pocketing money, and they'd have offshore accounts, and it would always be a weird thing of corruption and how to mitigate that corruption, which is also one of the fascinating things about the current state of technology is that we're so much more aware of corruption. There's so much independent reporting, and we're so much more cognizant of the actual problems that are in place.
This is really great. One of the things that I've observed, obviously many other people too, is corruption is such an incredible hindrance to getting anything done in a society to make forward progress. And, you know, my worldview had been more US-centric when I was younger, and as I've just studied the world more and had to work in more places in the world, like, it's amazing how much corruption there still is. But the shift to a technologically enabled world, I think, is a major force against it because everything it's harder to hide stuff. And I do think corruption in the world will keep trending down.
Because of its exposure.
Yeah.
Through technology. This episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. College basketball fans, it's tournament time. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook. To celebrate the game's most frenzied time of the year, DraftKings is giving new customers a chance to score big. You can bet on any college basketball national tournament game and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code Rogan. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Only with DraftKings Sportsbook with the code Rogan. The crown is yours. Tap the banner or visit this episode's page to learn more. Must be 21 or older. Indiana only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/bball. Gambling problem? Call with it. It's a great place to starting a garden doesn't have to be intimidating. I'd like to recommend Fast Growing Trees, one of the biggest online nurseries in the U.S. with more than 10,000 different kinds of plants that will be shipped to your door in just 1 to 2 days. That includes lemon, avocado, olive, and fig trees that you can grow inside your home. I love that you don't even need to have a lot of land to work with these guys. And if you don't have the greenest of thumbs, don't worry. Fast Growing Trees has a 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee, plus free plant consultations. I think it's great that they'll help you with every step from finding the best plants for your garden to designing the layout and talking you through plant care. Truly, this is where to half off when using the code JRE. That's an additional 15% off at Fast Growing. JR. And it comes at a cost, and I think the loss, I am paid this super is not, that's not for the overall good of society. That's for control. Yeah, I think, there's many things that I'm disappointed that the U.S. government has done recently, but the war on crypto, which I think is we can't do this. That's the thing that makes me quite sad about the country. It makes me quite sad about the country too, but then you also see with the TX, this can get, without regulation and without someone overseeing it, this can get really fucked. Yeah, I'm not anti-regulation. I think there's clearly a role for it, and I also think FTX was a sort of comically bad situation. Yeah, we shouldn't. It's worst case scenario. Yeah. Yeah, but it's a fun one. It's totally fun, and I love that story. I mean, you clearly. I really do. I love the fact that they were all doing drugs and having sex with each other. Yeah, no, it had every part of the drama. It's a gripping story because they had everything there. They did their taxes with what was the program that they used? QuickBooks. They deal with billions of dollars. I don't know why I think the word polycule is so funny. But polycule? That was what they what you call a relationship, a poly but closed, polyamorous molecule put together. Oh, I see. So they were this is our polycule. So there's 9 of them and they're poly. 10 of them or whatever. Yeah, you call that a polycule. I think that was the funny that became a meme in Silicon Valley for a while, but I thought it was hilarious. You clearly want enough regulation that can't happen. But they're I'm not against that happening. I'm against them doing what they did. No, that's just a month.
That's what I mean.
Polycule is kind of fun.
Go for it. No, I mean, you want enough thing that like FTX can't lose all of its depositors' money.
Yes.
But I think there's an important point here, which is you have all of this other regulation that people and it didn't keep us safe. And the basic thing, which was like, let's do that. That was not all of the crypto stuff people were talking about.
Yes. I mean, the real fascinating crypto is Bitcoin. To me, I mean, that's the one that I think has the most likely possibility of becoming a universal viable currency. And it's, it's limited in the amount that there can be. It's
I've gotten to like learn more this space. Excited about it for the same reasons I'm excited about Bitcoin too. But I for an important step on the tech tree.
Yeah, agree. Watch it and control currency.
After AGI.
I've wanted to share everywhere. There are no secrets. There are no boundaries. There are no hidden secrets. What money is this digital thing? Well, how there's literally no bottom.
Whatever. And if you think about a world where like intellectual labor is just readily available and super cheap, then that's somehow very different. I think there will always be goods that we want to be scarce and expensive.